Hey, 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 it's Kennedy. It's your girl Kennedy, whole single. And I'm coming in hot off the press tonight. I want to go ahead and get this video created and get this series started. You know, the series I talked to you all about this morning on that live. I want to go ahead and get this first one all together for you. And the first one, the first part of the series that we're going to be talking about, because it is up to you. It's up to you. It's your time and it's your call, and it's up to you. We can't pass it on for someone else to do what God has called us to do. Sometimes things will force us to go ahead and get it done. You know, you get a little uncomfortable in situations, and God is like, I told you to get there. I told you to push this, and I told you to press. And sometimes it's just more familiar to do some things. It's a little bit easier to do other things. But right now, we have to really, really tune in to what God is calling us to do. And it's your time, and it is. It's you have to get the that sense of urgency that it's really quite up to you right now. It is. It's up to you to get this done. And so today we're going to be talking about Esther. And Queen Esther, before she was Esther, let's talk about it. Her Hebrew name was Hadassah, and then it means myrtle, like it's just a rich, fragrant flower. And while Esther, her Persian name, possibly meaning star, which she used in the royal court to conceal her Jewish identity. Sometimes we hide who we are. We hide who God has called us to be. Either we don't feel like we're up to the task. We feel like, no, he didn't call me to do that, because we feel insignificant. Like, I don't have a big S on my chest like Superman, or I'm not from this family. I'm not from that lineage. Or they have people, and you feel like, well, it's just little old me. What am I going to do? But you don't know what significant part you may play in altering the whole trajectory of your life, your family's life, some people around you's life. I've noticed some things that have gone on in the last couple of years that I'm proud of. I'm very proud that there are people that have started podcasts. There are people that have written books. There are people that have gone on to do several things that I noticed that I had started doing. And I know they're friends of mine, or they're close to me. They may not give me credit, but I don't know. I don't care. If you say, well, Miss Kennedy is doing this, and it gave you a little strength to do it, oh, so be it. You don't have to give me any shout out. I don't need any praise. Praise God for that. He gave you the strength to do it. But today, let's talk about Esther, because Esther, she we were in a time where the Persian king, he had a queen, Vashti or Vashti, depending on who you are, where you're at, how they want to pronounce it. Beautiful to look at. The queen, he got all these. This king had all these kingdoms and kingdoms, and like we would say, he was over the whole United States, boo boo. He was over the half of Africa, baby. And he had kingdoms, and when he sent out a decree, and hey, they got people on horses and carriage and all that to go run and run and run and tell them this what he said we're gonna do, this what he said we're gonna do. And if he said hang them, they hung them high. If they said plant them, they planted them low. You understand? And so he had riches, and we think about King Solomon and all his glory and his riches and everything. Now this one, he got, this king, he had it like that. He had kingdoms. And so he had a queen, and back then they had a lot of queens. Well, they had a queen, and they had a bunch of concubines and women and stuff. But he had a party, and he decided after you got a little tipsy, he like sit the man back down, the eunuch. Hey, go on get my wife, bring my wife out here, let them see what I got. Let us see my baby. And Queen Vashti was like, you know what? I don't feel like being y'all eye candy. I don't feel like your friends done got all drunk, and now they want to look at me and twirl me around like I'm, a piece of meat. So she refused to go. And so they like, wait a minute, now who? Now this was custom. This was something they always did. Why you think he picked you? Cause you was pretty, you were beautiful to look at. You know they were gonna want to look at you, and if y'all done been together sometime, that ain't the first party he done had. Well, you done marched right on out there, and one let it did a twirl. But tonight, you got your hair caught in the crawl. You like, I ain't going. So now he the king feeling embarrassed. And he like, oh, well, no, she didn't. Deny me, I'm the king. So he gonna say, they sit around all they little elders, the deacons and all that. Yeah, y'all. And he like, you know what we gonna do? They like, man, we can't have our wives disobeying us, acting like that. When we say jump, she supposed to jump. We gonna have to do something. So they banished. He like, you gonna have to banish. You gonna sit up somewhere else. She gonna have to go because we don't need the word getting around that if the queen told the king no, then what that mean for us? Then we can't have this. So who knows why all of a sudden, but we know. So now all of a sudden the king said, I need me a new queen. I need me somebody more pretty, you know. So they scoured all the whole land and they looking and they finding all the most beautiful, well-bred women in the kingdoms with an S. And his little orphan Hadassah, her mom and her father had passed on, and she was being raised by Mordecai, which was her cousin, and these were Jewish people. They were in the kingdom, but they were in Persia. And there's a long history back to this. I'm talking about the history of this goes all the way back to King Saul and and the Amalekites or something of the Amalek. I can't never say the words right. And they were like Saul was supposed to kill the Amalekites. Y'all know who I'm talking about, but he didn't. He saved, he did not kill them all. God said tear them up, but he didn't do it. So now you got this line of people that survived where God had told you to destroy them. So now you got Haman in this time and era. This is his relatives, and you right here, y'all these folks too. Esther, Mordecai. Already, I might not, I smile in your face, but honestly, Mordecai, I know this is Haman. So this like one of the king folks up there, around the castle that do stuff for him and everything. But in the meantime, they got the folks out looking for a new queen, and so when they do in the course of this, they find these women and they're beautiful and cultured and all this, and they take them and they prepare them. So they get prepared. They have these. Read the book of Esther. Read the whole book, and you'll see how she had to be bathed with these certain kind of ointments and flowers, and she had to have certain bubble bath, and she had to have certain, them little bath bombs that we like so much. She had to have certain ones and they, get put certain oils and things in her hair, on Coming to America. They said, "Oh boy, what you got in your head? You got perm, soul growth." And he said, and the person said, "I have no soul growth in my hair. These are only roots and berries." But then what they would do, so they did the best moisturizers and all this with Hadassah, or in her Persian name Esther, to refine her. And all this time they getting the outer thing together. Hadassah, she looking at the servants and the people and how they move and how they carry themselves and what they like, what they don't like, how she would treat them if she was king. Her humbleness in heart still was there, even though they were preparing the outside to be so beautiful and all of this. And so as the story goes on, she was chosen as queen. His eyes fell upon Queen Hadassah, or Esther, her Persian name, and he was smitten. He like, oh, that one right there, right there, right there. Yeah, I think we got a winner with that one. Not really knowing her Jewish heritage, because in the she, she had that dark, beautiful hair like the Persians and so forth, and a little darker skin, and so. But he fell upon her. He like, okay, so then we move along, and she became queen. And because of Haman and his hatred for the Jewish people, and for that, because he knew they both had got wiped out, but they didn't, and his line stayed on. He was able to. Now he got in a ill. You need to make a decree that we're gonna kill all the Jews, because he trying to get rid of Mordecai and his clan, because he really just don't want them there. So now here Queen Esther, covered up Jew, like Mordecai, like, who you, hey, what? You can't let them just do us like this. This is genocide. They trying to kill us all. But you up in the house, you need to talk to him. You can talk to him where none of us can. But that meant telling the king exactly who she was. That meant telling him, as a matter of fact, them people you finna kill, which she did. Them people you finna kill. Finna, I said it. They're my people. So if you kill them, guess what? King, you love me, you think I'm so beautiful, you're going to have to take me out too. Mordecai, with all these things that happen, and you up in the house, this is where we at. Esther 4:14 say, for if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. So wherever you are, see, I can't go into the whole thing, but read the whole book of Esther. Because, I like to keep these videos short and sweet, at least under 20 minutes, so else people don't watch them, they cut them off. And this is so important that I really want you to read and get through this whole story of under preparation, and what she got through, and how much strength and courage. Because if he sent Queen Vashti, or Queen Vashti, away for just not coming to present herself, he had already sent out a decree stamped with his ring in the wax, meaning he can't even himself go back on it, because now he done sent it out to kingdoms and kingdoms and kingdoms. You remember the Pony Express, the letters they had to carry out the kingdoms and kingdoms and kingdoms, that this is the decree. The king had said, they finna in a couple of days, hours, whatever, they gone. If you see one, take them out. And she had to have such courage to say to him, look, if you do that, if you let this decree ride, then that's going to be me and my family, me and my heritage. I'm going with them, because that's who I am. That's the blood of my blood. Let me tell you something. I don't know what happened with my great-great-grandmama and my grandmother. Because, see, my grandmother died before I was born. And so I never got to know her. But I can tell you this. When I got grown and adult, I started hearing about who she was and some of the shortcomings she had. And some of the most eerie things would happen is that my grandfather, who was married to her, used to call me Lena. He would look at me and say, Lena, like looking at me like he was literally looking at a ghost. This was someone that was her husband, that knowing my name is Kennedy, knowing that's Brenda's child, my granddaughter, he would look at me and say, oh, that's Lena. My aunt and my mother, they would look at me and say, you look just like our mother. Some friends of hers in Fort Myers, God bless her, I love Miss Perkins to the end of the earth. She lived to be like 97, and she was really close to my heart. And she would always say to me the same thing. She said, you look like Lena. And most people that knew her said, you look like her. Now, Lena was very talented, very talented. She was a Delta Sigma Theta. She was a very smart woman. She could play the piano and the organ. She played at Mount Sinai Baptist Church, a church that I even was a greeter at, and I even attended that church. But she was an alcoholic. She had a issue. Now, me, I did too. I had that same issue for a long time. I had abandonment issues because my mother never stayed there with me. I was made to feel less than and inferior. I felt like an orphan. I felt like if it wasn't for my brother Lionel, I would just not have anyone. Then he passed away, and I just really felt left alone, like I had no one, and I would drink even more. And it just became part of who I was because of all the things on the inside of me that I felt like I just wanted to drown out. Like if I would just, I was functional, all kind of education. But when the studying is over, the bottle is lifted and I don't want to think about nothing else. I have so many degrees and certificates and pieces of paper because that was my run to not drink. Because as long as I'm trying to study and understand something, I can't filter that. I can't do the two. And she was smart too, but I wonder. Now I did get to meet my great grandmother, which was her mother, but I was a little girl then. And I wonder what their relationship was like. You see, what was their relationship like? So that I want to try to understand why my mother treated me a certain way. And so as I got older and then I had my daughter, I decided, you know what? I don't know what their relationship was like or why she drank, but I can probably bet you it had something to do with maybe possibly rejection, maybe possibly I can tell that my big mama, my great grandmother was really, really strong willed. She was a big, tall Indian woman. Let me tell you, she was really tall and had really long, long hair. And she was really strict. I used to stay with her in the summers and stuff. So I could tell she was one, two, three. So I could just imagine how she raised her kids and why my grandmother may have, had issues. So when I say all this, I'm saying that there may be some curses that passed on to you, like that drinking or addiction or some certain other thing. What I'm saying is, or the way they raise their kids, it's up to you. Don't think the next generation, don't push it off to your generation, the next generation to take care of that. You do. So I don't drink. I decided when I had my daughter that I would be there with her no matter what. I would not leave my child to be off across the country with someone or leave this little bitty girl with her brothers to raise, which my daughter didn't have brothers. She's the only child because her older sister passed before she was born. I loved on her and kissed her and all the things that my mother never did with me. I I didn't overcompensate, but I made sure that my daughter wouldn't be scared to hug me, that my daughter wouldn't be scared to follow me or call me or love on me or be able to have a question and have a beautiful relationship with me. And now I look and I watch her with her daughter and their closeness and the way they can talk with each other. And as my granddaughter's getting older, how she loves on me and hugs on her nana, but she's scared. She's not scared of my mother, but she's standoffish because we don't. She's not a tender like person. I'm saying all this to say it's up to you. It's up, take it upon yourself for such a time as this. It's up to you to break these generational curses. My daughter does not drink, so that it had to stop with me. My daughter, that's what I'm saying. You don't want to just rely on the next generation to solve these issues and break these curses. If Esther had not stood up and say, hey, you about to take out my foes, all my people, they would have been gone. So have the strength that whatever it is that you believe that you need to address in your family, in your life, in your ministry, in your job, in your home, in your world, in the people that's associated with you, the way you talk to them, the way you mentor without mentoring. You see, people are watching you. They may not always do what you said do, but they're watching you. I heard a pastor say, on the social media, he said, on Facebook, take a picture and then look and see how many likes you get. You might get 10 likes, but do a video and watch you get 300 views, because they may not be liking you, but they're sure watching you. And that's a definite. So read Esther. And I want you to know, for such a time as this, very present help, let's do it. Because guess what? It really is. It really is. It's up to you.